So today we'll be looking at That's a Question. So That's a Question is by Czech Games Edition. It is by the designer Vlaada Chvátil. So That's a Question is surprisingly not a heavy game. It is actually a light game, which is very interesting given Vlaada Chvátil's pedigree of games that he has created, like Galaxy Truckers, and the lighter fare will be like Codenames. This is even lighter than Codenames, I would say. So That's a Question plays about 3 to 6 players. Takes about 30 minutes or so to play. What players are doing is that they are trying to take turns asking each other questions. All right, giving them a choice, and then other players are trying to guess what that person who is answering your question will choose. If they chose correctly, then they'll score a point. But if they chose wrongly, then the person who gave the questions in the first place to that person will score a point. And there's a track, and also a fixed number of turns. So after, I think it's about 3 or 4 rounds, or 4 or 5 rounds, all right, whoever is most ahead in terms of the track, all right, the leaderboard track, will win the game. All right, and so let's take a look at the game components, how to play the game, and my thoughts about the game. Now, I just want to take a moment here to thank my sponsors. All right, Fun Again Games. Push Your Luck Video is an affiliate of Fun Again Games. So if you go to funagaingames.com, and when you check out after you buy any games there, if you put my code PULV, that's Papa Umbrella Lima Virgo. All right, in the affiliate code section, a little bit of kickback comes back to me as well. So thank you very much if you do that. And also, I'd like to thank Tasty Minstrel Games for sponsorship. Tasty Minstrel now has a podcast, and is run by my very good friend Lance, the Undead Viking. So if you want to take a listen to what Tasty Minstrel has to say about the board game industry, about the games they're releasing, do check out their podcast as well. On with the review. Alright, so these are the components you get in That's a Question. There's a game board. This is where you keep track of the progress. Alright, every right answer you get, or every point you get, just move your little squirrel up by 1 point. Alright, and you go all the way like this. Alright, when it comes to the river and the lake and the meadow here, you get a chance to refresh these 2 special tokens that every player has. Alright, once. Alright, if they were used up previously, now you can take them back again. And if you come up to here, don't worry, there's still the clouds. You can still go onto the clouds as well. This indicates the number of cards of these cards that you discard at the start. This will indicate the number of cards that will be available in the deck. All right, at the start of the game. All right, this is calculated apparently so that every player will have an equal number of turns, and the game will end in 4 or 5 rounds or so. Each player also get 5 of these question cards. All right, they will have different subjects or different nouns. All right, and they are linked to the colors that you can see in this main question triangle here. All right, each player also have an acorn. All right, or you can also play a hazelnut, or either one, up to you. They also have A and B, as well as these 2 kickers. All right, these 2 are things that you can like play on and also get extra points from. All right, and so that's all the components of the game. So as I mentioned, during a game you have 5 cards. Now, depending on who the start player is, the start player will choose one other player to take their hazelnut or acorn. This means that you are asking that player a question. Now, the reason why there's this token is so that you cannot keep asking one player all the questions. All right, it's not an interrogation. So this will ensure that you can only ask a person questions if they have this with them, or this hazelnut with them. If they do not have the hazelnut with them, then you cannot ask them questions. Okay, so you will ask a person a question. You look through your 5 cards, all right, and you decide which cards that you want, which 2 cards you want to play, and also which question you want to ask. So, for example, let me look through. All right. So, who do you consider worse? Right, someone who pretends to be sick to avoid going to work, or plays video games instead of meeting a work deadline. All right, so this is a question you ask that player. Now, the player will have a chance to think about it and decide. So the player will think about it and put A or B down. So let's say I put A down. Then all the other players will have a chance to put A or B down. All right. Now, once every player has done that, then we all review. Except for the player who gave the question in the first place. All right. So all the players will review. Now, every player that has the same answer as the person who answered the question will move up by 1 space. Every player that did not have the same answer as the player who answered the question, the person that gave the question to the answerer will get 1 point. All right, for every other questions. All right, and so that's how the point system works and how you play the game. Then these 2 cards are discarded. You draw another 2 more cards from the deck. All right, and the player goes to the next player. So the next player will now become the person giving the question. Okay. Now the 2 kickers are: if you think that you have a right answer, you can put it down and you score 3 points. 3 points instead of 1. Right. If you think that this question is tough, you put this down, and for every wrong answer in that round, including yours, you get 1 point. All right. And so that's how the game works. Pretty simple. Once the deck runs out, all right, you will play once more through, and then at the end of the game, you see who is furthest ahead in the track and will win the game. So that's all there is to the game. The questions are pretty interesting and makes you really think of how you can score points when you're asking someone a question by giving answers that's really close together. So that's all there is to the game of That's the Question. So let's go to my thoughts about the game. So That's the Question. It is a very interesting game. I would say that it is kind of like a team building thingy rather than an actual game itself. So when I got it, I was like, oh, Vlaada Chvátil, he usually does very heavy games, so it's kind of surprising that he has a rather light game and more like a team building thing rather than a game itself. So when I played it, it is very interesting. It will work best if you know all the other players around the table, because then you kind of know, okay, this person, he likes video games. So maybe when I ask the question about, when I ask these 2 questions, it might be very tight. So a lot of other players around may be confused and I get points kind of thing. And at the same time, when you're trying to answer, you could game the system in a way, much like a lot of other games where like there's always a judge, a player is a judge of the final results of the game. So you could game the system in a way, but it's best if you play it honestly and truthfully, because that will make it more fun, and people will have a lot of conversations will be created from the questions. Oh, why would you choose that? I thought you would choose the other one. Well, then you start to explain yourself, and then players will get a deeper understanding of you. So I would say, but this is definitely not for everyone, because players who feel that they need more of a game than this, all right, they might not want it. But I would dare say that there is actually a bit more game that meets the eye. For example, if I'm the person that's dictating the questions, I'll look at my cards, I'll think, okay, which 2 cards are the most similar, and which of the 3 questions I should ask that will confuse other people so that I can get more points. So very much like if you like games like this, all right, do check it out. All right, I will say that this is a recommended for me. I'm pleasantly surprised by it, and I think you'll enjoy it too. All right, so thank you so much for watching, and also please subscribe to this channel. Like this video as well. You can also leave comments below and even ask questions about me, about the channel, about the game as well. All right, I welcome all suggestions, comments, and questions. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.